assessment, identification, and the steps and the strategies to handle the risk. Okay, we will continue with some more things. Okay, and this time we will talk about some of the documents which you can prepare for risk associated with the project. Now, the documents which we are talking about, they are sometimes used by the organizations for their own working as well. So, risk matrix or risk register can be prepared for the organization as well instead of the project. Okay, and many organizations do that. Even departments in University of Bahrain also do that. Obviously, we are not working with projects, but still we maintain our own risk registers. So it can be for any business or any organization. So we will be going through this content in these slides. Okay, we already have gone through the definition of risk management, which involves identification, assessment, and mitigating any potential risk. Okay, and it should be affecting the project objectives, and risk management ensures that the project is successful and it reduces surprises and provides a systematic approach to handling uncertainty. Okay, now when the risk, if first of all, my question is, what do we mean by project success? What makes a project successful? And obviously we are talking about construction projects. So what makes a construction project successful? How do we say that this project is successful and this one is unsuccessful? Finish in time, budget, and good quality. Yes. So yes, this is the basic definition of saying that a project is successful. If a project within a scope, yeah, okay. So scope is another item, right? So good point. So you mentioned the scope and the quality differently here. So that's important thing. Sometimes you, so somebody asks you, okay, we will do a two-story villa, let's say, and it will take this much time and this much budget and whatever work, the concrete quality, the steel quality, and everything is mentioned. So they fulfill the requirements, but they leave out the boundary wall. Okay, so they are meeting the quality requirements for the work which they have done. It is done within budget and within time, but in the end you did not fulfill your project objective. So yes, when you meet time, budget, scope, and quality, that is considered as a successful project. Okay. So how or what can endanger the success of the project? What can risk or what can harm the success of the project? So the main thing is, or the main items are risks. If nobody is trying to intentionally damage the project, and obviously people don't want to do that. The client wouldn't want to do that. It's not good for him. The contractor doesn't want to do that because he wants to have more clients and more businesses, and more projects. So he doesn't want to do that, and consultant obviously would not want to do that. Okay, so nobody is benefiting from the failure of the project. Okay, so everybody is trying to save the project. Everybody is trying to make the project successful. Okay, but usually the project becomes unsuccessful or does not meet the criteria of success because of a risk. Okay, So when you handle the risks properly, you are increasing the chances of completing the project successfully. Now, when you do risk management, it reduces surprises. Okay, but we said risk is something uncertain, right? If I know something for sure, it does not count as a risk. It is an activity, it's a task which I have to do because it is happening for sure. So risk is by default a surprise. Risk is by default something uncertain. So how can risk management reduce surprises? Because it is uncertain whether it will happen or not and when it will happen. But I have already thought about it that these are the things which can go wrong. Okay, so if I have done my exhaustive risk management plan, then there shouldn't be anything which can happen, and when it does happen, it surprises me. So I'm prepared. Okay, I'm prepared that I'm prepared even about the uncertain items. Okay, so yes, I know. For example, you are driving a car, and you know that the car tires can get damaged. Okay, but nobody can exactly say that I will exactly on this day I need to change my tires. On exactly on this much time and in this much day I need to change my oil. Okay, but if you look at the tire one day and you feel that it is worn out now, you have to change it today. It's not a surprise because you know that this type of thing can happen in the car. Okay, and you have to change the oil and you have to keep the other oils filled up and so on and so forth. So we don't know when it will happen, but when it does happen, it's not a surprise because we already have it in our mind that this type of thing can happen, and when it does happen, what should I do? Where should I go? Okay, car battery is most of the time the problem, right? It does not let the car start and you are stuck. But now you know that yes, this can happen. It's a battery issue. When it does happen, I will jump start the car or something and I will change the battery. Okay, so you have everything ready and you know what has happened. Okay, so this is what reduces the surprise element. So yes, it is uncertain, but it is already in my mind. Okay, there is some uncertainty there, but it's not something which I haven't thought about. A good example is your grades, right? Okay, so yes, I'm aiming for A or A minor or whatever, I don't know. But I know there are other grades as well, right? So if it does happen in the end, I'll not be that surprised. Okay, so when you do your risk management, it provides you a systematic approach for managing the uncertainties. Systematic means that you will do it step by step. There's a flow which is already thought about, and you will follow the same procedure. Okay, so you are not in the blind spot. So extreme rain happened, an accident happened, market prices changed. You know what you need to do. You know the procedure, you know the steps, you know who to go to and what that person is supposed to do. It's not like I will, something has happened on the site and I'm looking at my phone, who should I call? Okay, it's not like this because I told you last time as well, when you do that, you will lose more time. So you will increase the negative effects of the risk. So that's why risk management is important. Okay, so we have already gone through this. The risk identification process starts, or brainstorming is a very important part of it. Okay, we have discussed the SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, I gave another name for opportunities. Okay, which was a positive risk. Risk can be negative, it can be positive as well. And the positive one is called as opportunities. Okay, and you do this analysis, and this can be done again at the organizational level or at the project level. At the organizational level, it is done very commonly. It is very common to do SWOT analysis for an organization. Okay, just to give an idea, what are the things which can be included in SWOT analysis if you are doing it for a construction company and how it can affect your project. For example, you are doing it for a company which has a lot of experience in the type of project you are doing. So experience at the organizational level is a strength, and this strength will help you with your project. Okay, having you know having what else? Having your own equipments. Okay, so you can use the equipments at your own timing, and you can arrange with them yourself. So these are potential strengths, and they will affect your project. Weaknesses can be, for example, your organization does not maintain a lot of financial assets. Okay, so in terms of money, you don't have any reserves or any large reserves. So if you go into any financial problems, the project can stop because of that. Okay, so this is a weakness. Not having enough financial reserves can be a weakness, and it will affect the project in some cases. Okay, opportunities can be that now the market, or there are some mega projects happening which will require your expertise. So you have expertise in, let's say, pile foundation or ground improvement, and then government of Bahrain or the Ministry of Housing announces that we are going to establish a new housing scheme which will be totally on reclaimed land. Okay, so that land will require a lot of groundwork. So this becomes an opportunity for you. Okay, this will open up new business for you. This is an opportunity, and the threat can be the other way around, that you specialized in work which are labor related. Okay, so you don't maintain assets, you don't work with equipment, but you have a skilled labor. Okay, the threat can be that people are going for automation, and your manual work may not be required on the projects. Okay, so this is the threat. Okay, so just to give an idea about these items. Okay, one or two examples for each of the items. So they are organization related, but they can affect the project as well. Another method of risk identification is expert interviews, and these experts can be in your organization, outside your organization. Okay, and then you can review the historical data as well from other projects. Again, your projects, somebody else's projects. Okay, normally we rely on similar projects. Okay, so for example, one of you is doing indoor forest, okay, or a stadium. So you need the historical data related to these projects because they are very specific, they are unique. So the same risks which apply to these projects may not be the case with a villa or some other project like this. Okay, so you identify the potential risks and you categorize them, and the categorization can be on the basis of the nature. Okay, they are financial risk, technical risk, operational risk. Okay, and then you go on and find out the nature and impact of each risk. Okay, the uncertainty and the impact. Okay, and then you start with risk assessment. After identification, you analyze the risks in terms of their probability and impact on the project, how likely they are to happen, and if they happen, how much will be the impact on the project. Then you prioritize the risk on the basis of these two things. Risks which have very high chance and very high impact will be on the top. Risk which have very low chance, very low impact will be at the bottom. And then in between you will have a mixture. The main aim of this assessment and this prioritization is you focus on the most critical risks. Okay, that can impact your project delivery or project completion. Project delivery means project completion. When you finish the project, you hand over client the land and everything. This is called as project delivery. Okay, so we want to focus on the most critical risks. Okay, we want to give them more priority because on a project you may have 1000 risks. Okay, there can be literally 1000 risks associated with a project. So now they are possible events, but I want to look at or I want to prioritize those events which have more chance and more impact on the project. Okay, because if I start preparing my plan and mitigation strategies for all 1000 events, I will waste a lot of time there, and I will end up using a very large factor of safety. Okay, so you guys have taken structures projects, right? Structural design courses and projects. So you always use factor of safety. The factor of safety is what? For any risk which is any risk of loading which is not known at this point. So obviously when you use a factor of safety, you are increasing the dimensions or increasing the design by that much amount. So if I use a factor of safety 10%, I'm increasing the cost or the design by 10%. Okay, so what we are saying that there's a risk of 10% increase in the loading. Okay, but there can be another event in which this 10% can go up to 50%. Okay, so then the factor of safety should be 50%. And there could be another event in which the load can be doubled. So the factor of safety should not be percent, it should be 2 times. You understand the difference between 50% and 2 times. 50% means 0.5. You increase by 0.5. And 2 times means you multiply by 2. So you are increasing by 100%. So if you consider all the possible risk events and you try to include them in your design, you will end up overestimating the design very, very high, much than what it should be actually. Okay, we do the same thing in traffic as well. Anybody who has taken traffic engineering course with me, we don't design for the highest speed. We don't design for the possible worst case. We design for something which is less than worse. Okay, and this is the reason that we want a balance between the handling of the risk and the project cost and project planning. Okay, same thing happens in management as well. If you try to handle all the risks and you plan for them and keep resources for them, you will end up using maybe double or triple the resources, or at least you will allocate them, and in the end they will not be required. Obviously there is no such thing as all that can go wrong will go wrong. There is no such thing like this. Okay, yes, people say this, anything which can go wrong will go wrong. No, it doesn't happen like this. Okay, you don't imagine what can go wrong. Okay, there can be other worse things which could have happened and they have not happened. Okay, so but if you do a proper risk assessment and you look at events, whatever event happens, you will find that there could be something even worse than that as well. So my point was, we need to prioritize the risks, okay, to be ready for the risks which are more likely to happen. And even in those risks, we will look at their impact. So yes, this one is more likely to happen, but its impact is only half a day. So even if it does happen, I can bear it. Okay, or something like this. Okay, once you have done the prioritization, help you with the prioritization, we prepare risk matrices, risk matrix. Okay, so what are the risk matrices? It's a chart. Okay, and you would plot this chart. So every chart is like a graph. It has 2 axes. So the axes in the risk matrix are severity, meaning the impact. Okay, so impact is on one axis and the probability or chance is on the other axis. Okay, so in a risk matrix, you prepare this graph and you put the risks into this graph according to their impact and according to their probability. Okay, so it gives you a visual representation of which risks to prioritize. Okay, so as they say that one picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So you can just look at one graph and you can see what I need to do for this project. Okay, the purpose that it has the decision makers to divert their attention on more important aspects, more important risks. Okay, so again, another thing which I forgot to mention. So if you are looking at 1,000 things and you are trying to distribute your time into 1,000 things, that means you are giving less time to more important things because you are looking at less important things as well at the same level. Okay, so you can keep this point in mind for your professional career as well, for your student life as well. All the tasks do not have the same importance level, but if you try to manage them at the same level, that means tasks which have less importance are getting more of your time, and vice versa. Your time is limited, right? Your time and resources, your attention is limited. Okay, so when you try to distribute it not according to the priority, that means less important tasks will get more time, more resources, more attention than they should have. Okay, I'm not saying that they should be ignored completely. Okay, but it's about how much should we give to those tasks. Okay, to what level should we stop? At what level should we stop? Okay, so you see where you so there's no equal distribution of time and resources and attention. Okay, and it's very now you guys are doing Gantt chart and CPM and so on. So the duration of the project is not divided equally, right? There are activities which can be finished in one day and there are activities which will take 1 month. Okay, so same case with the resources as well. The 1 day activity will take less resources. A 1 month activity will take more resources. So risks which are associated with that small activity will take or should take less attention. Okay, and the risks which are involved with that big large activity will get more attention. Okay, so there is no equal distribution of resources, there is no equal distribution of time. Okay, and the same goes with the management plan as well. Okay, so how do I prioritize? Then you need something visual, something very convenient. Okay, and this is why we have the risk matrix. Okay, so it's like a grid. Okay, I already told you about the axes and you color code it. Okay, I believe there's, yeah, you can see the color coding here. So you have probability, you have impact. On the basis of that you do the risk rating. Probability is the chance a risk can happen. So this chance can be in the form of these words: low chance, unlikely, seldom, medium, occasional, likely, high, definitely it will happen. Okay, and then you have the impact, and the impact can be insignificant, minor, moderate, critical, major, catastrophic. Okay, the impact. Now these, if I'm using these words, low, unlikely, seldom, minor, moderate, critical, what type of assessment I'm doing? So we discussed about 2 types of assessment earlier. Risk assessment can be done in 2 ways. Yeah, this one is qualitative. Yes, good. This one is qualitative. What was the other one called? What was the other type? Quantitative, yes. Okay, so this one is qualitative, but you can do the same thing with quantitative as well. So in quantitative, the probability will be in the form of percentages: 10% chance, 20% chance, 30% chance, and the impact can be in some quantitative units. But I told you earlier that just having the output in the form of numbers does not qualify for the qualitative or quantitative assessment. There should be a process by which you got these numbers. There should be a scientific process by which you got these numbers. So if somebody says low means 5%, unlikely means 10%, seldom means 30%, so they are just telling you from their experience. Okay, they didn't calculate it from an equation or from some data. Okay, so this will still be, if you convert them into numbers by doing anything else, this will still be qualitative. This is, if you are doing it in a qualitative manner, okay, then this, as per your experience. Okay, so we are in April. Okay, so what is the chance of a rain according to the weather we are having? Okay, so there's a medium chance, right? So this is as per experience, this is as per your judgment. Okay, but if you want to calculate it, then you take the historical data of the projects or of the weather or the market. Okay, and then you make up your own equations or models, and those models will give you the percentages. There are probability distribution models, you have used them in statistics and probability. Okay, so you look at what type of distribution you have, and according to that you can calculate some approximate percentages and numbers. People again who have taken traffic with me, we have discussed probability distributions, normal distribution, chi-square distribution. Okay, so you have to, first thing is you have to collect the data, then you have to analyze the data, which type of distribution it follows. On the basis of that you can calculate the chance or the likelihood. You will not have any experience, but like there are other people, you are not Adam, right? You are Faris, yeah? So you are not the first guy in the whole world, so you will benefit from other people. That's why we are doing this. Brainstorming, so you can do it with others. You can look at the organization files, maybe they have done their own SWOT analysis before. You can ask other experts, you can look at previous data. You don't have previous data, but the organization has, so you can go ahead and look at that data as well. Okay, so data is for everybody, right? And so on and so forth. Okay, then you have the risk rating. After that you can rate the risks, and I told you normally we try to keep them 3 levels: low, medium, high, because making them too many levels can confuse the person who is doing the planning and so on. Okay, so you can see the risk matrix here. So they have more categories here, by the way, not just 3. Okay, and you can see the color coding here as well. Okay, so on the y-axis we have the chance. Where is the y-axis? This is the y-axis. Okay, we have the chance. The x-axis we have the impact. Okay, and it goes from low chance to high chance and low impact to high impact. And then you can see the green ones are the good ones. Okay, so now you can see there is an event which has major impact on the project, but it has a very low chance. Okay, so impact into chance, it becomes a very low value. Okay, but if the same severity you increase the chance, then the overall risk rating increases. With the same severity, if you increase the chance further, the severity level or the risk rating further increases, and so on and so forth. So why we are creating the risk matrix? Because now we can focus on the spots. Okay, which spots should we focus on? These spots, the one which are on the top right hand corner. Okay, so you can see, okay, these 3-4 spots, any risk which falls under these 3-4 boxes, I will definitely plan for that, and I will keep it on higher priority, and so on and so forth. This one is more detailed, this one is a simpler one. Okay, only 3 categories for each one of them. Then you can see the boxes are also very simple. 3 here, 3 here, 3 here. Everything is like symmetric. Okay, so these are the ones which I can ignore. Okay, these are the ones I should plan for, and these are the ones I should definitely plan for, and I should keep resources, extra resources for these items. Okay, And this is another way of doing it. They call it the heat map. I don't know if you have used it earlier, or they are becoming very popular. Anybody who has, I believe, Howrah and Bayan, you are doing the crash analysis using GIS or something like that. So in those cases, heat maps are very common. So you can see the gradient. Okay, so the color is going from green to red. So the ones which are in the red zones are more critical, the ones which are in the green zone are less critical, and so on and so forth. Okay. Yeah, another thing which they have done here. So these ratings, they have coded them with numbers. Okay, the ratings are coded with numbers. So they are qualitative, but I have converted them into a sequence, into an order. So very low severity has one order, higher 2, and very high is 3. Same thing with the chance as well. Very low chance 1, some higher chance 2, and very high chance 3. Okay, so you are converting now the qualitative data into some sort of numerical data. It's still qualitative. It is still qualitative. Okay, so if low chance and low severity, it will have a risk index of 1. Okay, then I have 2 into 1. Okay, so either it is low severity with some chance, or some chance with low severity with some chance, or low chance with some severity. In both cases, the number 1 into 2 will be 2. Okay, so I can say, okay, 2 and 1 are very low ratings, and it can be with either of these cases. Either the severity is very, very low, or either the chance is very, very low, or both of them are very, very low. Okay, but anything which gives me an answer of 1 or 2, I can keep it in the green zone. I can ignore it, I can accept it when it happens, and so on and so forth. And then you go on this side. So 3 into 3, 3 chance, very high chance, and 3 severity as well. So 3 into 3 is 9. Okay, then you can have 3 into 2 as well. Okay, so now I can say, okay, anything which is between 6 to 9, I will take it as very high priority case. Okay, anything which gives me a number of 3 to 9 after multiplying with these things, I'll take it as a very high priority case. Okay, anything between them, between 2 and 6, is medium priority. So you can see they have played it very smartly, and they have converted the qualitative rating into a numeric rule. Okay, it's a rule, right? So in this case, it becomes very easy once you look at this and you see the numbers. Okay, so there's the decision making becomes very easy. So this is the whole aim of having a risk matrix. So you can decide very easily. Okay, so we have talked about this. Okay, and this one, and then you have the definitions as well. Okay, this is another example. Okay, so some practical examples now. Risk number 1, supplier delay. Okay, high probability, moderate effect. Okay, so we are giving it a high score. Okay, a high risk, but not very, very high. Okay, same thing here as well. Medium probability, major impact. Okay, and then we have this one, team turnover. Okay, the team leaves the project, whatever. Okay, so very low probability and very minor impact. Okay, you are working with people who are easily replaceable. Okay, so that's a very low risk. Okay, and then you have this one, regulatory change. Probability is medium, impact is also medium. So overall risk is medium. Okay, this one should be also, I believe this is a mistake. This should be critical. Okay. Anyways, then you have this one, which has very high probability and very major impact: equipment failure. So there's a very high chance that it will happen, and if it happens, it will have a very big impact on the project. So then it becomes a critical risk, and you can put it in the red zone. Okay. And then you can see the what we need to do. Okay, for example, equipment failure, the most important risk, should be given immediate attention. Immediate attention means maybe you will have a replacement ready at your project. Okay, because of this you should have a replacement ready at your project. Risks which are in the low range, the green ones, if they are the green one, there's only one, can be monitored. Okay, so the green risks are also not ignored completely when it comes to project monitoring. Okay, so low risk doesn't mean that you will not look for it. Okay, low risk means yes, I will not allocate any resources for it just now. Okay, I'll just keep monitoring. If it happens, then I can deal with it. Okay, and then we have the moderate risk, for example, supplier delay. Okay, it may need some action when it happens, so you have a plan ready. Okay, but you don't do anything in advance for it. So the red ones, let me summarize. The red ones is something which you plan, something for which you will keep the resources ready. Okay, so you are on the go. Okay, like it is just about to happen. Okay, those are the red ones. Then for the low ones, you don't prepare, but you monitor them. For the medium ones, you monitor them and you prepare for them. Okay, but the preparation are to a lower level. Okay, so you are not exactly what they call as action ready. You may still have to take some approvals, you may still have to fill up some documents before you start doing something. So those are the medium ones. Okay, then we have the risk register. So it's a log, it's a table, it's a list. Okay, log or list that documents all the identified risks and the analysis and strategies. Okay, so the risk matrix is used for prioritization, but the risk register gives you more information about the whole risk management process. Okay, so this is what you did in the risk management process, right? You identified, you analyzed, you planned for them. So this whole thing will be summarized in the risk register, which is a log or a table. Okay, using the risk register, you can keep track of the risks. It shows you the responsibilities as well. You can document the mitigation or contingency plans. So what were we supposed to do and what did we actually do when the risk happened? Did we implement the plan? Did it go satisfactorily? And so on and so forth. So because of having all these important items, many experts consider risk register to be the most important part of project management documentation. Okay, so this tool, the risk register, can be used for tracking of the risks. Okay, so you update it during the project. You need to keep on looking at the project progress and you keep on going back to the risk register and you update it according to what is actually happening on the project. And again, like we have been saying, the correct risk management process, the proper risk management process will exclude or should exclude any surprises. Okay, and in the end, it gives you the record of what has happened, and then you can learn from it more for future projects. Okay, so everything is documented there, what you planned and what actually happened. Okay, and how did you get to that plan and so on and so forth. So during the project, the risk can happen many times. So with the risk register, you know what can happen once it has happened, what you have done. So in the same project in future or for future projects, when this thing comes up, you are ready for it. And the risk register gives you a tool for tracking and for documenting of the past experience. Okay, when to use a risk register? You should create a risk register at the beginning of the project. Okay, and this will enable the team to continually update it. If the register is not ready, obviously one of the important documents is incomplete, then the whatever happens during the project you cannot include in the risk register because it is already missing some items. So I did not include, for example, equipment failure in the risk register. I did not finish the risk register before starting of the project. So when the equipment did fail, I did not know where to go, and it has already failed now. Okay, so there's no point in going back to the risk register and updating it. You can still update it, but it will the time has already passed for this particular project. Okay, so we should prepare it at the beginning of the project. We should communicate it to the team as well, so they are aware of the risks for their activities and so on and so forth. And obviously once you are updating it, you will also need feedback from the team because everybody is not working on all the items of the project. So there can be one guy who is handling labor, there's another guy who is handling equipment, there's another guy who is the site foreman, he's handling the site facilities. So each one of them may have a different perspective and may give you different data which you can update in the risk register and which you can use in your risk planning as well. So that's why it is very important that you prepare this at the start and you communicate it and you take their feedback as well. Who will create the risk register? Obviously the project manager, because he is responsible for the entire project. Okay, and he is supposed to update it as well. So yes, he will take feedback, but obviously in terms of documentation, we don't do updating randomly. Okay, the file is there on the cloud or the file is there on the drive, and anybody can open the file and they can make whatever changes they like, and that's it, because they are part of the team. It doesn't happen in this way. Even in your term projects, you will not let it go like this, right? So yes, you do this part, you do this part, you do this part, but eventually there should be someone who will gather these parts and he will be updating the final report. He will be creating the final report. He can show it to other people and they can give the feedback, they can point out mistakes, they can correct some parts, but in the end there should be someone who will look at who will have a final look and the final say on the project, on this risk register. Okay, in some cases he may delegate the responsibility to someone else. Okay, if he is dealing with too many projects, okay, or he has someone who is better in this. There are big projects in which there are specialists who are dealing with risks and quality and so on. So these people can be given the task as well. But as I mentioned, one person is responsible for it. It doesn't mean that only one person is preparing it. He is taking the feedback from everybody. So others are also owners. Okay, they are also owning some part of the risk register. Okay, so I'll stop here.